All right. Does it say recording on your side?
Yes, it does.
All right. So good morning, Mom. Good morning, Jay. Do you have coffee, by the way?
Spencer.
Did you bring coffee?
Oh, I did. You're going to have to grab mine over there.
Papa Jay has his. So, all right. So there's going to be an audience maybe watching this, probably like my 3 followers and like 7 of your retired friends. Hopefully more than that. But, the idea, and I just kind of shared this offline, but the idea for this is I'm really curious about everything that happened to you guys while you were in Jamaica. I deliberately haven't asked up to this point because I felt like it would be good to do it recorded, where it's like truly authentically me asking questions about what happened. And this helps to, I don't know, timestamp it right after it happened, where like, Mom, your grandsons, or Jay, your grandkids, like that are really young and aren't going to ask questions about how you guys lived through a Category 5 hurricane. They may be able to watch it down the road and it may be of interest, and maybe it won't, but who knows? It can't hurt to video. So April is my mom, and Jay is her husband. You guys got married, I guess it's about 3 weeks ago, right? October 11th?
Yes.
In Myrtle Beach. So that's where we'll start the story. And the girls are leaving for school and screaming, apparently.
Quietly.
And then you came up to Pennsylvania. We had a little wedding celebration here for you guys here. And then, hey, girls, quiet. Hopefully I can edit this. If not, it'll just be the relief of my life.
Stretch it out a little. And edit it.
And then, so you came up here to Pennsylvania. We had a wedding celebration at our house. And then what day was it that you actually left for Jamaica? Was it Wednesday?
Yes, yeah. Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
Do you remember the date?
22nd, I think.
How about I go get a calendar?
Yeah, I got a count. Yeah, I have October 22nd was a Wednesday.
Okay.
And the plan for your honeymoon was to be there for a week, right?
Yes.
8 days.
Yep.
Oh, 8 days. So you were supposed to fly back when? The 30th?
Thursday the 30th. Yeah.
Okay. And what was the resort that you were scheduled to stay at?
The Rio Palace, Tropical Bay in the Grill.
All right. So let's go to, you fly out. Well, first, I guess I do want to rewind back to the party here, because what I've heard through the grapevine, I wasn't paying attention to any hurricane or tropical storm or whatever in the Caribbean because I wasn't going to Jamaica. But apparently Wendy said something to you about it. Yeah, so talk about that, Mom. Did Wendy bring it up to you that there might be a storm down there?
Yeah, but the weather stations love to sensationalize the weather, and the tropical storms in the Caribbean are not unusual. And I've been to Negril twice in the month of October and never had an issue. It does rain, but it's like Florida. It rains and then it clears up and it's a beautiful day. So I wasn't too concerned about it.
Right. And I had tracked it on the Weather Channel, and they were saying, there's a possible storm, but their tracking zones or broadness that they were showing were not really incorporating or covering Jamaica. So even that early, we weren't that concerned.
Yeah. And what, Mom, what was, I've heard through the grapevine what your response to Wendy was, but do you remember what you said to her when she brought it up?
No.
All right. So I heard something along the lines of, I will just sit inside and play cards for a day or two.
That is what I said.
Yeah.
Come to think of it.
Well, guess what?
Yeah.
So, and friends of yours from Myrtle Beach were also going on the trip with you. Did they look at the storm, or was there conversations between you guys and them about like, hey, there's a storm coming, should we be concerned, or was there not really any conversation?
No.
I think they heard about possibility of a storm brewing, again, but nothing.
Yeah, I don't even remember us discussing it with them.
Nope.
All right. All right. So let's fast forward. You're excited to go to Jamaica, because who wouldn't want to go to an all-inclusive with, bright blue waters and white sandy beaches and 85-degree temps and buffets and margaritas and cervezas and so you get there. What's the weather like when you get there on on Wednesday the 22nd?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, in the high 70s, low 80s.
And then how many days of like nice weather did you have? So that was Wednesday. Thursday was another nice day.
Yeah. Thursday was a beautiful day, and we weren't having any concerns, and thoroughly enjoyed the whole day.
So when did you start having concerns, thinking like, "Ooh, this might get ugly"?
Friday. when we met for breakfast, I think.
Yeah, and of course we have TVs in our room, and I think it was probably them, right? Or did you have the weather on?
I might have looked.
But that's when we started realizing that this was a very slow moving storm, and that it was moving more towards the centering underneath of Jamaica.
And the zone business they show really still didn't incorporate or cover much of Jamaica. And it was stalled. That was the other thing we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's stalled in the Caribbean Sea and just sat there.
So you have a discussion with Larry and Paula, the other couple, like on Friday, like, oh, maybe this doesn't look so great.
Yeah. And we were on our way to Negril. The driver who took us, we were in a small SUV, just the four of us. And as we were passing through all the small little towns, it's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, and it all runs along the coast of the ocean. And he mentioned a couple of these little towns as we're passing through. Oh, it floods here when there's a storm. And I've actually had to sleep in my SUV for several hours until the police told me it had dried up, cleared, and I could go through. So on Friday, we start thinking, well, if they do have a bad storm here, we could get stuck here in Negril and not be able to get back up to that road.
Well, you sort of remember I woke up that morning after I dreamt that we couldn't get back to Montego Bay, and it was like this ongoing thing. I couldn't even get rid of the dream. It just kept going and going. So I was telling the group, and they went, yeah, we thought about that too, that we wouldn't, if it was really bad, we wouldn't be able to get back. So that started the impetus of, wanting to leave at that point.
At least to go back to Montego Bay.
Yeah. So, and when the days are fuzzy for me, because I feel like this was just I was somewhat involved in talking to you and aware of what was going on and trying to help at times. So what day did you actually then say, okay, well, Friday, I'm guessing you made the decision we need to go back to Montego Bay.
Well,
when did you go?
We contacted our insurance, the travel agency, and also their vacation suppliers company that takes over once you're in the place. And we asked them if we could they transfer us back to Montego Bay? And we were working on that on Friday and Saturday, and
made a lot of phone calls.
Yeah. And none of it paid off.
No.
There was some, they made it sound as if they were working on getting us a transfer up there. And then by Saturday, we're thinking maybe we need to get out of here, out of Montego Bay. And they were supposed to be looking for flights for us. But every time they had something almost kind of nailed down, something happened that they couldn't follow through, or either it was communication with us and them, or communication between them and American, or communication between two employees changing shifts.
Yeah, we were told that, well, we're going to hand it over to the next person because our shift is up. Well, in doing that, we lost an opportunity to fly out of there because it might have been an hour or two till we connected again.
And by that time they're starting, and we had said, well, you know, we wanted to be transferred because of the storm. And they said, well, it's only a tropical storm.
Right. 2 hours later, it became a Cat 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think
the other couple had already made their decision. They were going. We had thought we would stay there, but just move to higher ground, we were oceanfront.
Yeah, we were very oceanfront.
Stay there. You mean in Negril where you
Negril,
originally were?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And just go to a second story room, but maybe back much further away from the ocean. So,
We had already discussed that with the staff at the front desk and said, would we be able to move? And they went, absolutely. So just come and let us know when you're ready.
Yeah.
and then Sunday morning we woke up and found out that Larry and Paula had decided during the night they were going. Their children were encouraging them get out of there. So they had their bags packed and were ready to leave. And when we found out that's what they were doing, we decided we should stick together. And we already had, all of us had kind of packed our bags anyway. So
We're ready
finished
to run.
packing our bags and got into a taxi.
Yeah.
All four of us.
Yeah. So I want to rewind a little bit. So obviously you first tried to get flights to get out of Jamaica altogether.
We were working hard on that and getting nowhere.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of people, and Mom, I'm probably your son from a pragmatic perspective. And I think a lot of people, like, my opinion, without being so connected to this situation, would be like one of two things. One, why would you fly down there on vacation when you know there's a hurricane coming? But that's really easy to say, you know, based on what you guys said. Like, you don't really know if it's going to be a hurricane. There's tropical storms that come through there all the time. And you guys were almost a week out of when the storm was really actually hit. And then I think a lot of people would be like, oh, they should have gotten out of there before the storm hit. And like, it's not that easy, right? Everyone's trying to get out. Everyone's trying to get on flights. Like, the flights are packed. And if there's no seat on the flight, you can't get on the flight. So, so for anybody that's pragmatic, or I don't know, I guess sarcastic or negative, like maybe I would have been if you guys weren't involved, it's not that easy, right? Like to just get out, especially when it's an island and you can't just get in a car and drive.
Right. Yeah, and you're at the mercy of the people who made all the original reservations for you. We couldn't just change our reservations. You know, we had to utilize the people that had originally done our planning and scheduling and, you know,
right.
Reservations.
You had the choice to go off the grid, or in other words, off the package, and it gets expensive.
Yeah.
That wasn't what was deterring us. Excuse me. But you're stuck there and you want to go through the program properly and hope that they'll help you. Well, that didn't happen. Yeah. So we did go off the grid, and we booked we got a shuttle back to Montego Bay.
It was just the four of us. We were the only people on it.
And Larry and Paul, and I believe their children, found them a hotel, and we jumped in on it. And that's how we ended up in Montego Bay.
And then you guys, based on my, well, you told us where you were staying. So of course I Google it, and then I look at the pictures, and then I'm like, what the hell? They literally picked a resort that couldn't be more sea level, oceanfront.
It was the other side, the other side of the island.
Yeah.
The north side.
Or sort of the other side.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite the other side.
Well,
you were on the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mom.
Well, at that time, what reports we were seeing, it was going to hit on the eastern side of the island, and we're on the northwestern side of it.
Yeah.
So we thought that there would be some safety there, and that airport would probably open up fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So the storm progressed westerly and looked like it was going to hit the center of the island, and that's why we bailed.
Yeah.
We would have been on the storm surge side. Instead, we were on the other side.
Yeah. So Sunday you get up to Catalonia. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Resort or hotel, whatever. Well, did you get, rewind again. Did you feel like you got to enjoy a couple days in the grill at least? Like, even though like on Friday, and when did you actually went up to Montego Bay on Sunday?
On Sunday morning, yeah.
So like Friday and Saturday, did you get to enjoy the resort, or was it kind of like too much going on in your heads and you didn't really get to enjoy it?
We did. We tried to enjoy it, but you're constantly trying to figure out what's the right thing to do. Should we make this change? Should we just ride it out here? Trying to make those phone calls or text messages or emails to these vacation organizers so that we could get, maybe moved. And so it was tainted. Let's just say that.
You weren't careful.
Really enjoy yourself because you were constantly stressed out and worrying
about the third day we were there. It was getting stressful.
Yeah. You're not careful.
And I must say, the children, you and everybody were one. Why are you doing this? Are you going to do that? There was a lot of questions, and it was coming from all directions. My sister, my nephew, who's out in California and knows all about piloting, and he's like, get out of there, So we went.
Yeah.
Actually, we had decided the night before we left that we will stay, but we're going to move up and down to another location in the complex. And Larry and Paul had decided they weren't going to stay.
Yeah. Well, I think staying together was a good decision, right? Like,
and that's what we decided. Yeah. You don't want to split.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were each other's support system. So,
matter of fact, we're home and they're still out there somewhere. We believe they're in Miami. We haven't officially heard.
Yeah, because then you did take different flight. Well, we'll get to that. But so you get up to Catalonia on Sunday, check in again, basically. Well, I think at this point, I don't think I was ever that like much pestering you guys about you got to do this, you got to do that at first, and then it started to ramp up, I think, like Sunday, Monday, because then the hurricane actually makes landfall when? Tuesday morning?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Sunday, Monday, I know there's lots of texts going back and forth. Mom, between you, me, Rem is telling you to basically become preppers, which he was probably right.
And we tried to do as much as what our kids advised as we could.
Yeah, and the ocean thing, as you said, you went from one ocean to another or location. This one here was higher ground. What you probably don't see that in any of the pictures.
Yeah,
we had a good 10 feet of elevation before it even got to ground level of the hotel base. So I estimated, well, you got 10 feet this way, another 13 feet to the second floor.
We requested second floor.
We asked for the second floor when we got there. So I figured you're not too high for the wind and you're just enough for high tide. And we're in a huge concrete building. So
Mom, when you sent me the picture of your room, it was like room number 4. It was 4 digits, but it started with a 4. So I'm like, oh, wouldn't that mean they're on the 4th floor?
No, it was building 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Building
and then the
4,
2 was
the second floor, room 39.
And the first, that was the second room.
Oh.
The first room was on the east side of that building 4. And we were we weren't ocean front, but we were the very next room behind that. And we had a sliding glass door that looked right out onto the, of like an ocean view, not ocean front.
Not good.
And that sliding glass door had enough of a gap in it that Jay said, I think we need to seal that. So fortunately, Larry had paint tape
and we gooped it up.
We put what 6 different layers side by side and sealed up that door, and then we went and joined them for doing, I don't know, eating and maybe playing cards. I don't remember, but when we came back into that room in the evening, the floor was wet soaked from all the moisture in the air that was
condensing on the floor.
Yeah,
it was all water. That's when we said, out of here.
So the next day we went and Larry and Paula, when we went to the room, there was an adjoining door. We thought, and they said, I don't think there's anybody over there. We're not hearing any noise. So we all went to the desk the next day, which would have been Monday morning, and said, can we have the adjoining room? And they said, oh no, that's not available. And I said, well, is there anybody in the room? No, but it needs to be cleaned. I said, well, I don't care if it's a dirty room. I said, I'll clean it if you want us to. We want that room. So they said, well, okay, we'll send somebody up to clean it. And that way we had adjoining rooms. We're on the back side of building 4, up against
another building,
what probably building 5 or something. But that building was being remodeled, and there was no there was not a great distance between the buildings, and we were on towards the back side of the whole building. Very
close together.
Yeah.
So that other
somewhat protected.
Yeah. So that building gave you some protection. So, and then the resort did give you some guidance or directions on what you should do? Like, I know, Mom, in sharing text, you said about putting mattresses up against the sliding doors, I think.
That was our decision.
Yeah.
That was the decision of all of us.
Yeah.
And we heard other people
we had 2 beds in our room, and they had a king bed. So we tore apart the second bed in our room and put the mattress on their sliding glass door and put the box spring against our sliding glass door, and then other furniture up against them to kind of protect. And then, of course, the curtains and everything, as much as we could, like, seal off that glass.
Right. If I may go back a little bit.
Sure.
In our process of going from Negril to Montego Bay, I want to call it Monterey Bay. I don't know why. But in our process of moving, we worked hard with the front desk, with the travel agency, with the booking agency. Please get us into the Rio hotels in Montego Bay. Yeah. And they completely blew us away.
There was 3 or 4 of them there, and we thought, well, we already paid for a Rio.
Yeah, why can't we transfer
to a Rio?
Yeah,
it never happened.
They said they didn't have that kind of relationship with each other.
Right. So we we broke away from the program at that point, and we went to a lesser hotel.
Something that we could afford out of our own pockets.
Well, it didn't matter. It was the only one that was available.
That's true. Yeah.
So moving forward now, we're preparing. I don't know. The weather was changing. Obviously, it was stormy looking, but it wasn't blowing very much. But we decided to do that and put the beds up. And
so happened that Larry had worked in the window industry, and he knew about window glass. And he was very concerned about those sliding doors because he said they were only, I don't know, single pane or something. And he said, if it takes a whack, it's going to be gone.
Yeah, there was one of the Fox News guys, like, there's a video, I was glued to the Weather Channel, like, for 2 days straight watching this. And there was video of, like, he was recording live, and, like, the house that they rented, the sliding glass doors, just, like, the wind was blowing so hard, it just, on Tuesday, it just collapsed right out. Like, nothing hit it. They just, like, collapsed out and broke on the deck that was outside. So, I'm sure Larry's experience and knowledge, he probably, I'm sure that was accurate. So, all right. So then everyone's telling you to prep. Stock bottles of water, have a go bag.
We had munchie. One of the first meals we went to at this resort, we were grabbing extra food. I remember having 2 omelets made in the morning, and it were gorgeous, big pieces of omelet. And we chopped them in little pieces and put them in a plastic bag and threw them in the fridge.
Happened. I had a whole bunch of little Ziploc bags, sandwich size, snack size.
We were stashing
that were clean. So we, collected some bread and some cheese. And
I ran upstairs to the ice maker, and we took big bags, Ziplocs, and we shoved that into the refrigerator, and also filled up all the what do you call it? The buckets, ice buckets, did stuff like that. So we had something cold to work with.
Yeah. And Jeremy put that satellite phone on my phone for me.
That was excellent.
And then he did international calling also. And it was, I think, harder for you guys because you couldn't control anything.
You couldn't see it.
Than it was for us because we were taking actions that you were telling us what to do, but you couldn't see that we were doing it.
Yeah. It was going on while you were thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's just natural stuff, not natural stuff, but I mean, stuff.
Did you fill the tub up with water and the sink with water?
She found the garbage cans in little trash cans.
And they all had plastic bags in them.
So
we filled those. The tub wouldn't close so that we could fill it. Right. And their room had just the shower. It didn't have a tub at all. So
and it was funny. We were joking, if we had a new toolbox to bring with us, we'd have duct tape, a rope so you wouldn't blow away. You can hold each other together. We were joking about
making
a whole list of
next
items.
Time we come.
Next time.
Or bring in.
Yeah, it was funny. But anyway, we had a list.
And all the kids and family back home are thinking, are they taking this seriously? Are they actually doing what we're suggesting to do?
Yeah, we really did pack go bags that only the absolute necessities and documents and everything were in our bag.
Yeah, that's right. We wrapped everything in plastic.
Yeah. We did, and we gathered as much water as we could get our hands on. We had little refrigerators in our room, so we were able to put some stuff there. But we also didn't know if there was going to be electricity.
Well, we did discuss that at the front desk when we checked in. Do you have a generator? Absolutely. What they didn't tell us was they kill the air conditioning and you still have electric. And it was 85 degrees, and you can't open the doors. It was a little stuffy.
Yeah. All right. So you do all the prepping. Is there anything like Sunday, Monday we're missing, or or jump into Tuesday storm day?
Well, okay. So the hotel itself closed out their normal buffet, which is in a wide open, these hotels, any of these tropical places, they don't have anything closed on the first floor.
It's all open air.
Wide open. It's open air. Of course, you got a roof above you, but the area that we first went to for the buffet completely closed it down. They moved us into the building on a second floor.
Yeah, which had they had like conference room and a convention center.
And there was 2 restaurants up there.
So they moved us into the conference center or convention center and had the meals up there for, I guess, all day Monday, maybe.
Actually, there was 3 meals there. Yeah. That was it. That was the only day we were there. After that, it was destroyed on the second floor.
And about the only thing they actually told us is don't go outside, and we will deliver breakfast and lunch to you on Tuesday morning.
During the storm.
And so they didn't really advise us as to anything to do to protect ourselves. It was more the things you guys told us.
Yeah. So we felt safe at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you felt safe because you felt like the construction of the building was solid and your location was somewhat well protected with the building behind you, and
we weren't facing the ocean.
Yeah. All right. So you wake up Thursday morning, Tuesday morning. Yeah, I don't know any, like for anyone watching, I deliberately have not asked questions. Mom, we've talked on the phone a bunch while you were still stuck there, but it was always business related, right? It was like
something that needed to be handled.
How can I help you? Like I haven't talked to you at all about the day of the storm, except for a couple texts you sent where you're playing cards, of course. So yeah, I'm just going to shut up. You guys tell me about what it's like to live through a Category 5 hurricane.
Well, I'm going to start by saying, have you ever been in a home when they're replacing the roof or even near one? You know, the bang, bang, pop.
Yeah.
It went on constantly. And what it was the ceiling, the roof tiles were metal roof tiles were peeling up one at a time in like these 2-foot chunks and flying in the air. And they were everywhere. But that noise was constant. Plus the sound of the wind. It was just horrendously loud, you know, in that respect.
When I got up, probably 6-ish or something, normal for me, and it was already raining and it was already wind. It wasn't scary yet because it wasn't fierce enough. It was just a normal storm at that point. But, you know, we were prepped, we were ready, and the kids came through, it seemed like all the young Jamaicans that were on the staff, they came through probably about 9 o'clock in the morning and brought us a bag breakfast and a bag lunch each. So we had all we needed to take care of ourselves. And we had already planned that we would just play games all day long because that would occupy us enough that we wouldn't be concentrating on what was going on outside of the building all the time. Although this one and Larry couldn't resist going over to that window and pulling that curtain back just to see what's going on out there all the time.
Well, I actually measured one of the palm trees, a real small one, and I was caught by the fact that it would bend and then it would go back up. And, you know, the little waves of wind coming in. Well, during the height of the storm, it was way over. And maybe every hour or so, I'd go out and pull the curtain back and I'd film it. So I have all these short little films of that tree bending. But there's a section of that, there's a clip that you can barely see the tree because the rain and it's almost solid water going by us straight across.
Did that tree make it?
Yes, it did. It's a little crooked, but it made it.
Yeah.
It was only about 6 inches in diameter. It was bent way over. It was like a pendulum. It would go like this, you know?
Yeah. So along this time, like Jeremy and I are texting back and forth, my brother, and he did a really good job somehow tracking down like that Sam, was it Dienst or however you pronounce his last name. He tracked down Sam. He tracked down some other guy, which I forget his name, but he tracked down these people that were like posting live videos from down there, and they happened to be at your resort too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I think, I'm trying to think back for me, like if it made me feel better. I think for the most part it did because I could see the actual conditions, right? Versus just guessing in my head.
Right. It was
what they were. But then there was a time when, was it Sam or the other guy? One of them was like, we just got evacuated to a stairwell. The roof of our building just got ripped off.
Yeah, it did.
But they were very much right on the water, right? Like
their building was closer to the ocean.
Yeah, it was the first building. There wasn't anything protecting it from the east side. And they actually had people in the oceanfront rooms,
and that's close to where they were.
Yeah, they were in that same building, I think.
And literally the building just peeled back in those couple of rooms on the end.
On the oceanfront, they actually kind of blew out those whole rooms.
And there was a woman hiding in her bathroom. They couldn't get her out.
Yeah.
because the wind blew. Once everything opened up, the wind was pushing so hard against the door off the water, off the ocean, that they couldn't push the door in.
To get
They
into
eventually got to her.
Yeah.
And got her out of there. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're right. They were in. I remember Sam telling us that he was in that building.
Yeah.
It was horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and there's a video that got shared quite a bit. You know, that the media outlets try to like find some sensational video to post. And there's one that I think Sam or the other guy took of the gazebo with like the red roof just collapsing out in front, like by the water.
It just fell right over. We saw pictures right before we left. This one couple we met on the last day, and he showed us a video, she had a video of it out their window, and it was just waving in the breeze. So later it just collapsed. Yep.
So, I mean, were there times when like the storm intensified and got the worse around early afternoon? Is that lunchtime, early afternoon?
I think so.
It was during the day. Yeah. It wasn't at night. It was.
Yeah.
We started out playing cards maybe in the open area towards the doors. And at one point, a piece of a roofing hit outside of their room, very close to it didn't hit the glass, but it hit like
the wall.
Like if you put your fingers on the hole that it left, it's only like 3 or 4 inches from the glass.
It just missed it.
But it was enough that we all went.
It was loud.
And then we decided maybe we should move further towards. So we moved all of our table and everything we were doing towards the entrance of the room, because it was bathroom on one side, closet on the other, and probably 7-8 feet long. And so we could all fit in that little area along with our table because we didn't want to give up our game.
Well, you had to play Rummy Cube, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah.
So
busy.
So did you ever like it? Yeah. Did it ever get bad in your room? Well, and so you've been texting me, Mom, along the way. Like, I think you texted me in the morning and you texted me a picture of you guys playing Rummy Cube. I think at like 1:30. I'm pretty sure that's what time it was.
Jeremy had said, set up check-in time so that we can keep track of how you are, that makes sure you're all right.
Yeah. So did you ever, and then, so that 1:30 text, I get you playing cards, and then that, for the most part, that's it. We don't hear from you again.
The Wi-Fi disappeared.
Right.
Yeah,
shut down.
The electric, we then moved their king-size bed all the way up against that outside, that sliding glass door.
Yes.
And we then moved into the open space between the bathroom and the king-size bed. And about that time, we had lost electricity. And it just so happened he had a headlamp with him. And we were able to tape that up against the headboard on the bed and continue playing cards.
I shined it on the ceiling, and it was a dull light all over the room. It actually glowed. It worked out just fine.
Yeah, that was probably, well, it was dark out.
So were we prepared? Yeah, I had the headlight. And, I had extra batteries, which don't tell anybody. But one of the locks, the safes, I opened up the battery compartment, and they were the same size battery, so I took them with me. Well, we switched rooms. I emptied the battery pack. So we had extra batteries. I was prepared.
So did you ever have, and you weren't on the, like, you were on the second floor, there was floors above you, so you weren't on the roof level. Yeah. Did you ever, like, it made Larry, in a text that I saw that Larry sent to his daughter, Kara, that she screenshotted and sent to me much later in the night, which we'll get to, but it made it sound like there was water in your room.
Big problem.
Yeah.
In your room or Larry and Paula's room, or both?
It was sort of both, but more in theirs. And it was an elevation issue. The hallway was literally lower than the corridors that go between the buildings. So when the water would blow in the side open spaces on the corridor, it flowed into the hallway.
And there's a tiny ramp right at the
Yeah, it
top
was
end.
maybe 2
Once
inch.
it came over that, then it kind of sloped down.
And it puddled. Well, what happened was our room was the end room,
so it was,
and it was a little bit
higher.
higher. And it was only at the doorway. When you opened the door, you had an inch of water. You went a little bit down the hall towards their door, it was flooding.
Yeah. So we were playing Rummy Cube. We didn't realize there was a lot of water on the floor until Paula was sitting next to the door. It goes, oh, water. So we had
There was water everywhere.
we had to get out all of our towels and start soaking it up and wringing out the water and putting the towels down and wringing out the water and putting down the towels.
So it was essentially seeping in under the door. Though.
Yes.
It wasn't coming in from above you.
No. Thank you, Lord. It was not.
That was the other thought. A 4-story building. I said, second floor, we're avoiding the water from the ocean. I don't want to be on the top floor.
Yeah.
So I prefer.
And if the top floor goes, the third floor is in trouble. So.
Yeah, and we figured we got enough roofs they had above us. So
yeah. I think I did a little bit of research, and most stuff said you don't want to be on the top floor where the roof is.
No, I knew that. I said right away, no top floor for me.
So, I mean, were there any moments like during? Well, so I guess we should talk about the path of the storm, which I saw another diagram today. But essentially, the eye of the storm. I now know the geography of Jamaica much better than I did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I do too. I'm just studying it.
So Jamaica basically almost is like an oval. And you guys were all the way on the western tip in Negril, and then you went to the northwest side where Montego Bay is a little cutout bay there. And Kingston's all the way down kind of in like the southeast corner, and Ocho Rios is kind of northeast. And the storm basically came right up more through the west side of the island than even central. And at least based on what like Sam said to you guys, you probably were in the left eye wall as it's coming up through, right?
Yeah. And the reason he believes that, Spencer, is because of how steady the winds were and the direction they were coming from. They were opposite the direction of the storm, which means you had to be on the other side if it's a circular, reverse spin. So
was there any moment, and I think it pretty much sustained at least mostly category 5 through the whole island, or maybe it knocked down to a 4 at some point, but
it petered out by the time it came out the other side. Yeah.
But
for the most part, we were seeing between a 4 and a 5.
Were there moments where it was like really terrifying, or was it?
There was for me, and I didn't really let it out. I did talk to Larry about it.
I didn't.
We were out in the hallway at one point, and it was roaring, and it was in the heart, closer to the end of the worst of it. And I said, I don't like this. This building feels like it's vibrating. And I remember seeing film of a steel bridge in Pennsylvania falling down because of the way it was designed. It started to vibrate, and it got a frequency going that was destructive. And I'm hearing and feeling it, and I'm going, Larry, do you feel what I feel? Yeah, I hear something. It's like vibration. And I went, that scares me, because that's concrete self-destructs if you vibrate it. And it went on for a while, but obviously it didn't hurt the building. So that scared me. I have to admit, and I think I told you, April, that it was scaring a little bit. Or scaring me because of the vibrate. You could actually
Didn't mean anything to me.
You could feel it. You could feel the building shaking, You don't bend concrete.
Were you ever like really scared, or you just?
No, I kind of felt like we passed through that day pretty calmly.
For the most part, yeah.
We kept ourselves busy. We laughed. We talked, and because we were busy with concentrating our minds on what we were playing, you're not as aware of what's going on the outside. I think if you didn't keep yourself busy and all you did was sit there and listen to what was going on and imagining the worst, I think that would be much worse.
Much worse.
I felt like we passed through it fairly calmly, and I mean, I never felt in danger.
Yeah, it was just that little period where I did,
and I've heard people describe it like the wind as like freight train or like deafening. Was it that loud? Like, just
it was loud, but I wouldn't call it deafening.
Okay.
The fact that we were that close to another building may have altered our experience of the sound and everything.
Yeah.
It was like just a tunnel that went through there, and it just kept moving and moving and moving. Yeah. And it was the building behind us was not under construction, but remodeling.
Yeah, they're rebuilding.
And there was a lot of the newer buildings, they're putting just glass plates are the outside edge of the balconies
for railings.
We just kept hitting crash.
Oh,
eventually
it went right down the line. One fell off, and then the next one, and then it went all the way down.
And that was 2 or 3 stories.
3 stories of it. It just peeled it right off.
Yesterday, just the other day, he said, "Look, there's only one plate glass
broken
left on that building."
They're going to be renovating that building again, huh?
The sliding glass doors, a lot of them were pretty good. There was one that had a big crack in it.
I think something hit it.
Yeah, and then there was another one that obviously had been blown off of its track, and had fallen into the room, but most of those sliding glass doors look like they held up fairly well. So whatever they're putting in now, they're putting in better.
Yeah, I'm sure I would guess they have some type of wind rating, right, on the doors that they're putting in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're usually like 160 mile an hour. I think like a garage door here has a number on it.
Yeah.
Or is it 110? I don't know. They got a hurricane number on it.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know. Anything through the storm that we didn't talk about?
Well, like I said, the vibrating and that big crash against the wall right next to the glass, that really scared all 4 of us.
Yeah, it startled all of you, it sounds like.
It woke us up, really.
And we did lose electricity. We had lost Wi-Fi earlier, and then we lost electricity.
Well, the television, too. We were watching the Weather Channel.
Yeah, I worked from home Monday, Tuesday, because, like, honestly, I was, like, mentally distracted. And watching, well, Monday, not so much, but Tuesday, definitely. I worked in my office and had the TV on the Fox Weather Channel pretty much the whole day. And there was a lot of live streams too. Actually, YouTube was kind of helpful. There were some live streams that you could just turn on that were just like fixed cameras. And I found one in Montego Bay. So yeah, that kind of helped, I think, a little bit, because it wasn't like this abstract idea of what the conditions were like there. We could actually see what the conditions were like there. So, all right. So then we don't like I said, you texted Mom at 1:30, a picture of you guys playing cards. And I expected to not hear from you, because we knew with the winds, you're going to lose power. You're going to lose Wi-Fi. And I wasn't really worried. And also, like, we had been kind of like posting about this, and lots of people were like praying for you guys too.
Yeah. Which we appreciated.
Here, there, and
greatly.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm getting ready for bed. I'm like, well, I guess we're not going to hear anything tonight. And yeah, then you texted at like 9. I don't know, 9:30.
I couldn't remember what time it was, but
and I'd have to read the text to remember what you said, but you basically said, we're all safe. Spread the word, or pass the word.
We're okay. Pass it on.
And I'm like, man, she sent me like 2 sentences that was like 10 words total. And I assumed that you maybe were like really shook by it, like almost in shock type shook, because of how the brevity of your text. It sounds like that's just because you felt, well, I'll let you say why it was so short.
Well, we were in our rooms and we get a knock on our door. Well, earlier the Jamaican kids came through and delivered dinner.
Yeah.
Anyways, about 9:00, we get a knock on our door, and this guy saying, "I've got a Starlink. You can come down and send a message to your families." And he's saying, "Let's go." And I'm thinking, I don't want to go out in that storm. You know, it was still raining hard. It was still blowing. And he said, "No, come on, let's go." And I thought, yeah, we need to get a message out.
And that was like that. This is right around the time you text me. Like this is 9:30.
Yeah.
Would had to been, yeah.
Yeah. And so we all four of us put on our raincoats and flip-flops and went out. Well, you had to walk through the corridors, had what, 3 or 4 inches of water on them, and we had to go up and down. We had to go downstairs, and then we had to walk through because he had it plugged into one of the transportation vans, and it was out at the lobby. So we had to walk all the way through the buildings to the lobby. And there was probably a good 30 people down there. And he had gone through all the buildings and announced this. And so we got down there and we were able to get on his Starlink. And so I didn't know how long it was going to last, this availability. And I didn't want to be down there any longer than necessary. So that was why I sent off something that gave you the message, but wasn't a long discussion. So
yeah, well, I mean, I was very excited to get any message at that point. I think Rebecca was already sleeping, and I'm like, "Hey, I just got a text from Mom. They're good." And then I forwarded the text to Kara, the daughter of the couple that you were with, and because you had sent me her number. And then she screenshotted back, like her dad had texted her and was much more, they actually went back and forth a little bit, and he said that they had water in the room and that it was pretty rough. And so like I got more of a picture, almost more of a negative picture from like the text that he sent, but I wasn't, it still didn't have a lot of description in it. But I was very thankful to get like a text because at that point, the storm, it wasn't gone. You guys still had like
a lot of storm.
Storm, you still had bands, but it was, I think, pretty much
moving.
The worst of it was through.
Yeah. Moving north.
Yeah. So then that was Tuesday. The next day is Wednesday. And I think I was at work, Mom, and I think I might have still been working from home that day, but you called me sometime like mid morning, I think. And I was very happy. Like, shame on me. I'm always happy when you call, but I was very happy to see you calling me at that point. And that's thanks to my brother setting up Starlink through T-Mobile on your phone. That even though there wasn't cell service, you were able to connect through that satellite. But you kind of had to wait too till it like cleared, right? Like if there was too much cloud coverage, we had a hard time.
Buildings, it was hard to get out away from the buildings.
Yeah.
So you were out in the driveway in that far corner,
moving around, trying to catch the signal.
Yeah. So, and we had pretty brief conversation. I don't really even remember what we talked about besides like you guys were okay, and then like planning of what was next.
That is when Groundhog Day started.
That's right.
and we also, as kids, like we were doing a bunch of stuff on the backside to kind of like prep for the future once the storm was gone. So we went to like the government travel site and we logged all of you guys, which was kind of a pain in the butt, honestly, because it required a lot of information. So like our U.S. government would know that you were out of country in Jamaica, which apparently was worthless. But we also logged you guys on, like there was 2 nonprofits, like this Cajun Navy. I forget exactly.
That was a disaster. The big group of 20 guys, they're ready to sink their ship. They were pretty angry with them. They blew them away.
They
literally.
actually, you had to pay money. Whoever had the most money got on their rescue.
Yeah, and there was another one called Gray something.
Yeah, I never heard anything about that, but
yeah. So I mean,
people.
I think we were all worried, not so much like once we knew you made it through the storm, the secondary worry, which maybe was a bigger worry, is like, okay, is there going to be like a food shortage, water shortage, rioting, like,
yeah,
you know, a survival of the fittest, like anarchy type situation, which never really happened, right? It sounds like,
no, as a matter of fact, it was quite the other way.
Yeah, people were very kind to each other, helpful. The staff was excellent. You know.
And of course, we weren't going to tell you that we left the compound for a while.
Did you go walk around?
No, we took a hike, and we found a store, and we purchased some Red Stripe and a bottle of wine for the next round of card playing, and some water and candy bars and just munchy stuff. And the people were so nice, unbelievable. They were in a mess. We were stepping over wires and garbage, or trash, debris rather, and everybody was patient.
And this is the Jamaicans,
because
we were outside of
nice
the compound.
Yeah, and nobody was pushing anybody around and gimme or grabbing stuff out of your hands.
Make you feel
they were very civil,
threatened in any way.
No.
And was it just like carnage, like when you're walking around, like everything is just trashed?
So there was a 4-lane highway there, and there was enough trees down in the north side that they couldn't even use the east-west lanes of that north side highway.
Well, yeah, 2 of the lanes were blocked, so they had to shift over to the other side.
So everybody the people who did have vehicles and were out moving around had to share the 2 lanes on the south side of that,
which was a 4-lane highway. So they had to jump over to one of the lanes.
Yeah,
and they were civil. I mean, there was a few.
There's a lot of horn blowing going,
but they do that anyway.
Yeah, that's normal for their.
But they were civil, and then the people we met were very nice, and we probably walked about a half a mile at the most.
On Wednesday late in the morning, they were able to restore the electricity, and we had running water, and the bathroom worked fine, and it was cold water, so we always were able to take a shower. They served us 3 meals a day, and took really good care of us. I was kind of impressed with how well they cared for us while we were there. I wasn't expecting it. I was expecting they were going to have to, really scale back, and they did, but not severely.
I didn't see anybody starving.
And we must have there was probably at least 150 people there, and people were patient and took turns waiting in line for things, and they took really good care of us. And for the most part, there was never any concerns about people stealing or.
Yeah, I heard nothing about looting. The taxi drivers, they were civil. They'd take you wherever you wanted to go. There was one family I found out later that went sightseeing after about 2 days after the storm. They paid a taxi and drove them all over the place. And I'm surprised they did that, but that's what people do. So,
but that was the beginning of what we called Groundhog Day, because you'd get up, you go down to the lobby. Sometimes you had, while the guy was there and had his Starlink available, we usually could use that. But then there was the concern of this Wi-Fi is not real reliable. Suppose they do open up the airport and we can't get confirm our reservations and check in, and what are we going to do? And
right. This was the beginning of Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
So you walk in the hallway, everything looked the same. Nothing was changing. At a certain time of the day, we walk down the steps to the foyer, and there's the food, and everybody's lined up. The next day, same thing. Or the next meal, same thing. It was repetitive for how many days? 6 days
6
like
days,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
one of the days was it
Are we?
Wednesday, no, must have been Thursday. We decided, you know what? There's an ocean out there. We might as well enjoy it. And we put on our swimming suits, and the four of us went down. And there was a small island out in front of this resort that I'm sure was man-made. But we thought, well, we can walk over to that island, and we did. And we got to see some
Sea life.
yeah,
critters.
and picked up shells, and then we were down there a couple hours, and then they came through and kicked us all off. And then we started thinking, you know what? We don't know what's in that water. There could be all kinds of debris in there that would hurt us. Somebody had found several sea urchins. Well, you don't want to step on a sea urchin. They picked up a dead eel. So, it probably wasn't the safest choice to make because we didn't know what we were exposing ourselves to.
There was some debris floating around and mostly branches, and stuff like that.
So, then the Groundhog Day starts, and I'm back home, all of a sudden on X, I'm following the Minister of State and the Minister of Transportation within Jamaica, and I'm constantly refreshing their pages because they're giving some updates. Like Kingston Airport opened very quickly because they didn't really get hit. They got some storm surge from the winds pushing around that way, but the storm was pretty far away from them. And then they're like Montego Bay was going to open the day. Even for me, it's like the days run together. But I think on Wednesday or Thursday, it was going to open for relief flights coming in. And then, it was supposed to open for a commercial a couple days later. But essentially it was opened and American Airlines just kept canceling. You would have a flight starting on Sunday was the first day that you were supposed to have a flight out, right?
Yep.
Saturday, they cancel your flight for Sunday, reschedule you for Monday.
Yep.
Sunday afternoon, they cancel your flight for Monday, reschedule you for Tuesday. Monday afternoon, they cancel your flight for Tuesday. And it just kept going on and on, to the point where I'm certainly you guys were getting aggravated.
The resort was wanting us to leave. I think it was on Friday already. The UK and Canada apparently sent buses, made arrangements. Buses came into our resort and took everybody from the UK and anybody from Canada. They took them out and took them to Kingston so they could fly them home.
Those people disappeared quickly. They didn't hang around.
Yeah.
And they got on the bus and left. And we heard pretty much all the Canadians were first and then Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
gone.
Didn't happen with the Americans.
Nope. We were the last ones hanging on.
Well, and you guys, I know because we're texting back and forth, but you guys are trying to decide, do we stay at the resort in Montego Bay? Do we take a bus, which, Kingston's 100. I looked at it on maps. It's 100-mile drive through a section where a Cat 5 hurricane just ripped through that you have to cross over it. And if you would go to Kingston, sure, the airport's open, but you don't have a hotel. You don't have a reserved seat on a flight. So there was a lot of unknowns in doing that. And the expectation was, well, Montego Bay will fly out tomorrow. But then that expectation kept getting kicked down the road a day at a time.
Yeah. Well, and I think we did try to work with our travel agency and the vacation provider again, and they were not willing to do the adjustments and the necessary work in order to move us to Kingston or to get us a hotel or to get us air flights out of there.
Now, the hotel offered 3 a.m. in the morning, several days in a row, a free bus ride to the Kingston airport. But we found out later they wouldn't allow you to get off anywhere else. So you would have had to go to the airport and then find a shuttle to a hotel.
Make your own arrangements,
Yeah. So it was a struggle. I was not anxious. April and I just did not want to go.
Yeah.
It was not fun hanging out there. although, we met a lot of great people. The missionary guys, Trace Diaz from Atlanta, they had been there to do a missionary
They were finished.
event in Trelawney, which was up in the mountains, and they came in the same day we did. They were supposed to be flying home the next day, and of course there wasn't any flights on. They stopped on that Sunday at noontime. So Monday they were supposed to have flown out and going to be able to. So they had made arrangements to stay at the same hotel. What a great bunch of guys, great personalities. We really, just having other Christians there with you is, similar thinking and personalities. And
they were just, it reminded me of the group of guys that Larry and I are with at our church. Where we know each other well enough, we could pick on each other in a certain way and, joke around. And that's how they were. They knew each other so well.
Yeah. And they included us in that. We were
part of their gang.
Yeah, became part of, conversation with each other, and we prayed for each other. And we actually had a big church service on Sunday morning after the storm. The Jamaican people are very
religious.
Yeah, they seem to be strong Christians. They have a great attitude. They seem to take this storm easily.
Yeah.
It's normal for them.
Go with the flow.
And they some of them lost their roofs, and some of them lost their houses, and some of them didn't. But they were like, well, we'll be all right, and we're used to this, and we'll take care of each other, and we'll bounce back. Kind of attitude, and very kind, very, very caring. And they stop you and say, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" And
yet they lost their houses, their roof.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
And man, can those girls sing? And we were doing praise and worship music, and one of the guys from the Trace Diaz, two of them were ministers. One of them did a sermon, and they allowed the manager of the hotel. She got up and spoke. And it was wonderful. It was a celebration that we all made it through alive, and giving God the glory for it. And, and a joy and an enjoyment and just praising together, gratefulness and thankfulness for what we'd passed through and what we were hoping would happen in the next few days.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to say that's where all of our list of songs, movie sayings, and things like that, if you're ready to hear them. The movie line, "No place like home."
And I said to him,
"Click your heels."
Yeah, I want, if I could only click my heels 3 times.
Of course, the movie was Groundhog Day, and that's because of the repetition of every day.
Yeah.
Was the same. The book or story was Swiss Family Robinson, stranded on an island.
Yep. His whole family together.
And then, of course, the Beatles song, If I Ever Get Out of Here. And the last thing was the quote, and it was, "Don't worry, be happy." So we kind of threw those around in a joking or humorous way, whenever we got the opportunity. And I'm sure there's more. There was several other things mentioned, but it was the kind of humor that kept going around, and the camaraderie that was developing.
Yeah. He said at one point, yeah, it's kind of like a college dormitory. We all had our room doors open, and people were wandering around. We were playing cards the one night.
The doors wide open.
One of the Trace Diaz guys and this Sam Deetz, they came in, chatted with us for a while. And Sam did say, that must have been early on, because he said, the first day everybody's going to be really happy they made it through. He said, around the second day, he said, things can get a little messy. We never did witness. There was 2 incidences where women kind of lost their cool, and
it was all about
started a huge screaming thing, but both of them got calmed down, and we didn't see repetition of it from either one of them. So,
and and Sam, he was like he's like a storm chaser or something, or like what was?
He's a media company.
Live Storm Media is the company he works for, and he lives in Houston.
He's married, has children, heck of a nice guy, fun to talk to. He couldn't wait to get home. He goes, I don't want to do another Cat 5 in my life. He said. So when you think of storm chasers like running after tornadoes, that's not exactly what he does. It's more like the during after effect. You know, let's get some film.
Yeah.
So he was flying a drone the one morning, and I went, why is there a drone going down the roadway? And you could see it up above the tree. And so I stopped him that afternoon. I said, was that you flying a drone? He goes, yep, I got some really interesting pictures. He did say he's got connections with the Weather Channel people, and they all know him real well, and his partners. And he's having fun with it. I mean, he's out there. That's his part of his job. He's also a technical guy. I think he said he has
said IT, didn't you?
an IT guy when he's at home.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was, I mean, Mom, you were sharing some of that with me along the way, like via text and our couple phone conversations, just that the people you had met there. And yeah, it's good to see people coming together in a really tough situation, not, you know, at odds. So
the Trace Diaz guys were willing to take us with them, but then it turned out they did take a whole busload of them to Kingston, and they were able to get a flight into the Bahamas, and from the Bahamas they flew out on Delta into Atlanta. They had told us we may possibly have to leave our luggage because it might be a small plane, and we decided we didn't want to do that, so that we stayed. And I exchanged phone numbers with two of those guys, and they've checked on us, and I've checked on them.
Mm-hmm.
Larry and Paula on Monday decided that he was having some health issues, that they needed to relocate. Kingston was not hit as badly. There were hotels, restaurants, you know, more like normal life down there. So they decided to go to Kingston and then work on a flight out of there. So they already had a hotel, and we decided that we wanted to stay and hopefully get a flight out on American out of Montego Bay.
We figured sooner or later they got to come through. I mean, and that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, finally.
So you have a flight, you get kicked down the can until you have a flight on Tuesday. Monday, it gets canceled again. And Tim from the travel agency was pretty quick to then say, screw this. We're not doing Montego Bay to Charlotte anymore because that keeps getting canceled. Instead, we're going to go Montego Bay to Philly to Charlotte to Myrtle Beach. And that's Tuesday that ended up happening.
And he put us on with special assist, which meant a wheelchair.
Wheelchairs for both.
Yeah.
But we switched that.
Yeah, I rode in the wheelchair, but it was great in Montego Bay. The young girl, she knew her way around the airport. She was very sweet, and she got us in and out through the line so easily and quickly. And as part of our package, both couples had bought the availability of going into the Club Mo Bay to hang out before our flight left, because usually you've got like at least 3 hours to kill before your flight leaves. And what a pleasure that was.
Yeah,
we got there and it was air conditioned.
The moment you walked near the doorway, you could feel this cooler air coming at you, and we're like, oh my God, that was better than anything else we had all week.
And it was clean and tidy and decorated, and there was a small buffet, and they had beverages and drinks and bathrooms. They said there was even a shower there.
You want to take a shower? Yeah.
So that was great, because we had been sleeping with this sliding door wide open, and it was hot and muggy covers, all night, every night. And they did get the electric back on, but they didn't have the energy enough to bother doing air conditioning for it.
Yeah. So, and there was a lot of like mixed reporting on the Montego Bay Airport. I mean, there was videos that kind of went viral of like a couple of the gates where like the roof is ripped off and water's running in.
Yeah.
But that was just at least what I read is that was just a section, right? And then like a big wing, a big area was fine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Somehow is there area where they sell all the stuff, all the
custom stuff.
Yeah.
Merchandising area.
All the what do they call it? Free something or other.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, that territory was totally all right. We went through it quickly, but they were selling stuff left and right while we were going through there.
Duty free.
That's it.
Duty free. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you had a long day, but everyone, and I was kind of like the communication liaison between you guys and the rest of the world, which was mostly done through social media. So, Groundhog Day for me was they have a flight was canceled. Here's the new flight was canceled. Here's the new flight. But there was a lot of people following along, and it was a good way to keep people aware of what at least if they were on Facebook, like what was going on with you guys. And I just would tag you guys and Rebecca, my wife, and Jeremy, my brother. And lots of people were praying for you guys through that. A couple times when I was like out at, I don't know, just out in public, people would stop me, that I was friends with, that I would see at kids' sports events or we had some other social engagement. People would be like, lots of people would be like, how's your mom? How's Jay? Like, are they back yet? So there was a lot of people like concerned and praying for you guys. And it was very exciting when I've never looked at flight radar before either, but I'm checking flight radar and I see your plane go out over the I guess it's the Caribbean there.
Caribbean Sea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, they are finally asses are in seats on a plane and the plane is airborne. So and then that was a really long day for you because you really took a very circuitous route to get back to Myrtle Beach, but that was the only real option. So
better than nothing.
Yeah. Well,
we're very grateful to get home.
Quite the adventure. There is a very finite number of people on this planet that can say that they have lived through a Category 5 hurricane. And you guys can now be like, that's us.
Yeah.
We got gypped out of a honeymoon, though. We need another one.
Yeah,
I mean, back to Jamaica.
In hindsight, I kind of wish, Ocho Rios didn't seem like it got it bad. And in hindsight, I kind of wish there's no way for us to know this, but it would have been nice if we had a,
Crystal.
I don't know, if we could have seen the future, if you guys had left and gone to Ocho Rios, I think you could have had multiple days of an actual honeymoon. Cause I think the resorts were fine there.
Well, but wasn't that the place they kept telling us we could go to another hotel?
Oh yeah, but it was $400 a night, and we'd already spent a lot of money.
we dumped well over $1,000 out of our wallet. So,
hopefully the travel emergency insurance actually reimburses you for some of that. I guess that will remain to be seen.
Yeah, but we'll see.
I want a new trip.
Does it how do you feel about going back to Jamaica? Has it tainted the island where you wouldn't want to go back there, or is it the opposite where you want to go back and get the honeymoon that you deserve? Or
just the going back part. I couldn't go there for another 2 years, mostly because of the infrastructure. It's going to take them at least a year to get themselves back on their feet.
Yeah.
I think 2 years would be safe. Everything will be done, remodeling and fixing, and they'll be back up and running again.
In some ways, it may end up nicer in 2 years than it was now, because a lot of stuff is going to be new, right?
Yeah. But it gave us a real appreciation for the people of the country. you know,
tremendous
more
people.
so than I had previously been exposed to. I've been to Jamaica 7 other times. So, you know, and I had met a lot of Jamaicans because that's who the employees are. But this time I interacted with them a lot more and got exposed to, you know, what their lives were like and what their home life was like and who those people were. And you had said too that you,
I said earlier, when we took the outer walk on the first, shortly after the hurricane ended, I came back to that hotel compound thinking rather, those people are so nice. Look around you. How many other people that you know or been around would tolerate what just happened? They'd be wailing and crying
and treating each other unkindly, and they never did that.
Well, that plus just being totally down and out. These people were not that bad. I mean, they could have been wailing away, and yet they were courteous or nice to you.
Mm-hmm. And concerned about us. We were relatively well cared for.
The girl that pushed your mother around in the wheelchair from booked into or checked in at the airlines yesterday. When we got there, and that girl said, "I'll take care of you." You know, we pull out some tip money and off she goes. We thought she's going to disappear whenever we get to where we're going. That girl did not leave our side. Matter of fact, I could tell she was getting a little uneasy. And then I looked at her and I said, "If we keep you here, you're not going to get any more tips, are you?" And she goes, "Well, they're very busy and it wasn't about the tip. It was about helping her coworkers that they'd be stuck with more people if she wasn't there." Mm-hmm. And so I gave her a big fat tip and sent her on her way. Do you know that girl was back knowing when our flight was leaving? Yeah. A couple hours later, she came back. That girl was so happy to help us. And yet she had lost the roof on her house. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was what she had to do. She was afraid of losing her job too, you know, whenever this rush is over. So those people, you just can't imagine how nice they were. Yeah. Contrasting, we get to Philadelphia, we got the first wheelchair shows up on the airplane. The kid goes, "Sit there," and then he didn't even he pushed her up the hill, off the airplane, up the ramp. We get to the top, he parks her and says, "I got to go get other people." I said, "Well, who's going to take us?" "I don't know." He goes, "I got to get them first." Yeah, it was a whole different ball game. Yeah. So that's when you decided to walk.
Yeah, I could. It really wasn't necessary for me to be in a wheelchair,
but it was convenient.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you had a half-hour layover in Charlotte where you had to get from one gate to another. So
it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously all of this is secondhand for me, but like, I'm pretty invested in what was going on down there with you guys. In some way, it makes me want to go to Jamaica and try to help. Like I know at our church there's some missionaries, medical missionaries in St. Mary's Parish, I think, which is kind of, I think, in between, like kind of closer to Ocho Rios. And yeah, like if they send a missions team down there to do some like work, I don't know, it'd be something that I would be interested in, I guess, because I just feel connected to it through you guys being there through the storm.
If you go, I'll go. How's that? Make a deal. Let me know.
Good. And the other thing that I saw two different contrasts on like social media. I saw people complaining about the way Americans were acting like at the resorts after the hurricane, which doesn't surprise me because there's assholes in every nationality, but sometimes we act worse. But then I saw the opposite where like there was some Americans that obviously aren't going anywhere. They're kind of stuck at the resorts, and they were actually like just helping clean up. They were like doing work around the resorts. And, I think that I hope that if I was there, that would have been me jumping in to help, because I don't know, you're probably kind of bored anyway. Like, why not, help get stuff back in order. And so hopefully there was more of that than the, I don't know, complaining, entitled Americans acting like spoiled brats. So,
Yeah.
Well, did we miss anything in the story? I didn't expect to talk about it for almost an hour and a half, but there was a lot to cover. So, quite the event.
We want to thank you and your family and your brother and my children for being very concerned and trying to help and helped as much as you did, because you kept us on top of things, on the negative side. Yeah, there were times when we wanted to shut you up. There's only so much we could do on our end to make you comfortable, knowing that we were comfortable or not in danger. And I know Larry and Paula felt the same way. Their daughter and son were hard to deal with at times.
Yeah.
But also set them up with a new hotel and make sure that they had airplane reservations and
it
was very difficult to keep together near the end. And I wasn't happy that they were doing what they were doing, but I couldn't stop them. And I respected that Larry was concerned about the temperature, and the humidity was hurting him.
Yeah. We met another couple.
Ankles were swollen and all that. And that's all part of the, the heart thing.
We met another couple from Columbia, South Carolina, and spent our last night with them. And they are close enough to where we are that we might get the six of us together and play cards and have a meal.
Yeah, we taught them how to play cards. They love the one.
You should you'll have to find a Jamaican place in Myrtle Beach and have jerk chicken.
That's a good idea.
And fried plantains.
Yeah.
I only had little jerk chicken. We didn't get to it fast enough.
The wind had picked up in Negril, and they weren't doing it outside anymore.
They shut the barbecue down,
they
and I missed it.
The next day they had it inside, and then I think the day after that we left.
Yeah, It wasn't that bad. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I love it.
And what do we have? Oxtail the one day, and goat. The goat is very good.
Yeah. Oxtail, there's an awful lot of bones in that.
Well, you guys have quite the experience and story to tell, and it's kind of badass. You can be like, have you been through a Category 5 hurricane? I have. So.
Well, I thought 3 was bad. I went through one of those and actually left a second time because I didn't want to go through it again, and there I am stuck in a 5. So I skipped the 4 completely.
Yeah. Well, thanks for telling the story. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe some other people will be interested in, or maybe your grandkids 10 years down the road will want to hear about G&J, or what do your grandkids call you, Jay?
Papa J.
Papa J. So, all right. Love you guys. Thanks for chatting. And
love you,
Mom, have it. And Mom, you're going to get on a flight in like 3 hours.
We're leaving shortly.
Yeah, we got to get off so you can go get on a flight to go visit Jeremy and my 2 nephews, your 2 grandsons. So have a safe flight. Hopefully you have a very, very uneventful trip. So.
Love you, man.
Love you too.
Love you guys. See you soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, 1:28. Wow. Where do you turn this thing off?
He can talk that long all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who can?
You.
No.